It's another question for Daniel Fried, the former U.S. Assistant Secretary of State for Europe, with me from Washington. You heard me talking to Clarissa there, Daniel. What do you think? What do you think? Does recognition per se activate the most serious form of sanctions? Because if it doesn't, and you end up with wishy-washy sanctions, then eventually everybody gets tired and goes home.
That is exactly the danger. And the Biden administration has been wrestling with this kind of a scenario for about a month. As far as I know, the administration and Europe had geared up very powerful sanctions to be used if Putin launched a full-out invasion. They were never as clear. The Europeans and Biden team was never as clear, even to itself, what it would do in case of a lesser aggression. Putin is very good at judging the trigger points, and he has come in with an aggression wrapped in hysterical 20th century despot language, but his action falls short of what we said would trigger the heaviest sanctions. So what do? I think the administration should hit the Russians. There is sufficient escalatory room in sanctions. If we could hit them in a way that shows, in a way that hurts, but not in a way that uses up all our leverage. But the Biden administration will have to wrestle with this in the next 24 hours.
Can he keep Europe together? Now, we know that the new administration in Berlin is being deliberately coy, because I think Scholz doesn't want to give his hand away. He wants the flexibility, which is being interpreted as weakness in some areas. But the united nature of NATO could fracture on this lesser move by Putin.
NATO will not fracture. It will defend NATO's eastern members, no doubt. The question is whether the U.S., the EU, and Britain can come up with a sanctions package strong enough to push back on Putin where it hurts, and not so strong that we fracture. I think we do need to hit him. This is the Putin playbook. And by the way, it's no surprise. Lots of us were predicting this kind of a move, but it's not necessarily the end, which is the trouble.
Right. So just jumping in on that, if he does, let's say, so we've got the recognition of the two eastern provinces. Now let's say he moves forces into these provinces and the sanctions come into play, the harder sanctions. Is it still your view that actually Putin wants the whole of Ukraine? Or do you think there's a half a chance he would stop at what he's got?
But that's not the way to frame the problem. Of course he wants control over all of Ukraine, but he's not going to try to take it all at once. He could take a piece now and then keep squeezing Ukraine, put on the economic pressure, try to find fissures in the West, and so crush the independent spirit and put in his own people without an invasion. Putin's aims won't change. He hates the very idea of a Ukrainian nation, and he will want to crush it, but his tactics may change, and I fear that's what we're in for.
So in this scenario, which is exceptionally dangerous and very difficult, why is he doing it? I mean, we are just, I was talking at dinner over the weekend, we're just coming out of a pandemic. Everybody is exhausted, and I assume everybody in Russia, well, I was there recently, and they're all exhausted too. The last thing any of us needed or wanted was this.
Right, you are. Putin has a nationalist agenda. He is following the playbook of, shall we say politely, early 20th century dictators. He is serious. He means it. But he has significant weaknesses. The Russian people probably don't want a full-scale war against their Ukrainian, ethnic cousins. Europe is united against Putin's aggression. Yes, we've been discussing the tactical problems of the West's response, and those are tough, and the danger exists. But Putin has significant strategic weaknesses, and we in the West should keep that in mind. A corrupt kleptocracy that rules through fear and assassination is no match for the democracies if we get our act together.
Daniel, wonderful. I mean, I say wonderful. We're very grateful to have you on the
Nothing
program.
wonderful about it.
That's what I mean. I apologize for my inopportune words, but you know what I mean. It was good to have your analysis, and I'm grateful. Thank you, sir.
Thanks for the opportunity.